Hello guys, and welcome back to another Tweaker Man video. So today is the day when we'll be building probably the best pure silver digital interconnect in the world. So this is our conductor material here, 4/9 pure silver. And we've got some pure silver RCA plugs here. And we've got 4% silver loaded solder. And then we've got some silver plated braid, 2 sizes. And we've got some electrical cleaner. We've got flux. We've got an array of heat shrinks. And another most important thing in cable building is PTFE tape. We have our heat shrink gun there, and it's always good to have a multimeter in place. We've got a tape measure, we've got a pair of scissors and some wire snippers. We've also got some aluminium foil tape and silver polish, because we want to highly polish the center conductor. We've also got our cotton tubing, so that is going to be covering the conductor, followed by 4 layers of PTFE tape. So we're starting here with our 99.99 4/9 pure silver wire, and what we're going to be doing today, first of all, is we're going to straighten it out, and then we're going to polish it. We want to polish the surface of this. Now, seeing as this is the best of the best, again, we want to make sure that we give every chance for this interconnect to be the best, and that will mean polishing the surface of the wire. And what I use here is just Goddard's long-term silver polish. Give it a good old shake first. We need a couple of cloths. Now, some people may think I'm nuts, but we're taking things to the extremes when we're building the best of the best. Okay, and I'll show you why. Okay, we're going to just polish each little bit for a while, and we need to get this up to a very high standard, a very high sheen on the surface of it. And you'll see here, you see where it's gone black there? That is where the polish is doing its job. Okay, we want to get, so a piece of this wire, 0.8 of a millimeter, works out to round about £15, I think, delivered just for a metre of it. So it's not cheap. And now we can just go right the way through like that and keep doing the same thing, just spreading it through to polish it, and go up and down along it. Take your time, do about 10 minutes of polishing. So I'll carry on polishing this for 10 minutes and I'll be back soon. So I've now polished up the wire. It's extremely shiny. You may not be able to see it on camera too well, but it really is shiny. So now what we want to do is we want to use some electrical cleaner on there now as well, because we want to make sure that it is, so spray a load on your cloth here, quite a bit, and we're just going to clean it. Now I've put a bit of this on my fingertips already, just to dry out any oils in the skin. I always put cream on afterwards. You can tell, you see, like, it makes your skin go white. And even now, you see, you've still got a bit of black coming off on there, you see. So what this does is it just helps to clean up any polish that's on the surface again. Give it a couple of goes. Remembering we're taking things to the limit with this cable. This is not just any old run-of-the-mill cable. This is the best of the best, as I keep saying. There we go. Now, to improve this cable even more, I would recommend deep cryogenic treatment afterwards. So now, in able to navigate the wire through the cotton tube there, what we need to do is to put some of this PTFE tape on it, just on the end, because we're going to pull it off afterwards, because we don't want the PTFE tape touching the conductor, because bearing in mind PTFE has a dielectric constant of 2 and cotton has a dielectric constant of 0.6, so in effect is far superior. But bearing in mind these are minimal things, but when you're making the best of the best, you take it to the limit, as I say. Right, so we've got that round like that. This is only just to go in so we can feddle it through. Now here's our cotton tube there. I'll just push it through there slowly. You can just slide it up like that. You just slide it up. See, now if we had just had the bare wire without the PTFE tape on the end, it would just be poking out all over the place. So by doing this, this is the way to make sure that it's not. So it just runs through effortlessly. There we go. Get it up to the end there. Take this up to here. Okay, that's about right there. Now, we'll just pop that off the end now. I can just pull that off. Now, if you hear me coughing all the time through these videos, I just get a dry throat when I'm on camera for some reason. And I've got to have a drink a minute. Right, okay, now, so what we're going to need to do now is we want to do 4 layers of PTFE tape onto here. And I'll show you how to do the first one. And then I shall just crack on with it. So we need to start off. So what you want to do is you don't really want, as I say, you don't want the PTFE tape touching the cotton. So just start it there, just so the cotton's sticking out the end a bit. So then we know that it's not. And then what we need to do is, if you can see this now, what we're doing is we're spinning the PTFE tape. Keep the pressure the same as you go around. There we go. So there you can see how that's going there. So I'm going to carry on and I'll be back and show you what it looks like in a minute. Time consuming, this part. So I've now given it 4 layers of PTFE tape. So it's still quite thin, which is good because we don't want it to be too thick, because we need to get it into our RCA plugs, which have an opening of around about 9mm. So by the time we get our aluminium foil shield on there, plus some braid, and then the more PTFE tape and braid, nylon braid on the outside, it was going to thicken it up quite a lot. So let's start now with the aluminium foil shield next. So we've now finished wrapping the PTFE tape around the cotton, which is in the centre, the cotton tube. We've given it 4 layers of PTFE tape, and now what we need to do is we need to do some aluminium foil tape. Now there's several ways of doing this. This is sticky back, you see, so very good stuff. Does a great job of shielding the cable. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn this over on its, so stick it to the bench there, that way round, so it don't move. then we can come up here like this. So we're going to need a metre of this. So I'll get a tape measure here, measure out a metre. Pull that over there a bit. Okay, so we're going to need to come up a bit further than that. Get a blade. We could use scissors, but we'll just get a blade for this. There we go. Now I'm just going to turn that over on itself and stick it to the bench again. There we go. Now, what we need to do now is to get our conductor here, and we want to stick it to this here. Okay, just take it shy of the cotton there. Now this is quite sticky, so you have to be very careful. We want to get it down nice and neatly all along the edge of it. There we go. Right along to there. So it gets a bit sticky on your fingers, so you have to be very careful. Right, now I'm just going to now chop across here with the scissors. This is going to be shy of it again now. Okay, we'll move that piece. Pull this up here. I'm going to just chop that piece here as well. That's it. Now this is quite wide, this aluminium foil tape, so it doesn't need to. We're going to chop some of this off afterwards, but just for now what we want to do is roll this over. I mean, for some of you smokers, you might know how to do this if you was rolling Rizzlers around tobacco. So we just want to gradually just roll it over slowly, like that, as we go along. Now be careful with this, because it's going to go over and stick, because it's a long length. Gradually get it over there. Can be tricky. There we go. Slowly get in there. Now that one's gone a bit. Pull that back a bit there. You don't want it to go all funny there. I'm going to try to keep it nice and neat. Slowly getting there. Again, as we're getting up to the end here, there's not an easier way of doing this really. This is about the best you're going to get. Up to here. Twist it slowly. Right, now all we want to do now is just turn it around this way like this, and then we'll just get that in there. Place. Hold it over like that. Come off the bench there. Just move that over a bit more. Right, that's about one layer of that over there. So all we want to do is just to cut this off with our scissors now. So then we can roll the last little bit round. Chop those as you go along, they're just going to get, they'll get a bit sticky and as I say, it's very sticky, this stuff, so it's now if you can buy this in a thinner amount. Right, so now all we've got to do now is just to finish twisting all this around. Okay, gluing it all down as we go along. That stuff's stuck there. This is probably the hardest part of building this cable, getting this stuff around it. Apart from that, you might be able to find this without any glue, without any adhesive on it. That would be pretty good. You can wrap it around without any adhesive. You want to keep it uniformed and the same width all along. Now I could have cut it down as well to start with, of course, which would have been easier. Right, just keep all that nice and rolled down round like that. There we go. Lovely jubbly. It's all nice and on there. Right, so that's our first shield on there, our aluminium foil. We'll get that out of the way now. Now the next thing we need is our braid. Okay. So here we have our braid. This one here. Okay, just the right length for this. So I've got several braids here. I've got this one here as well, which is the right length as well, and they're both silver plated. So what we're going to do now then is we're going to use our a bit of PTFE tape here, just to wrap around the conductor at the end there, because it will just get snagged up going through. And it's just it's a pain once it does that. And the reason I use PTFE tape is because it just pulls off easy. Just want to sort of make a blob on the end of it, just like that. Come up around here a bit more, pull it over, spin it in your fingers if you need to. go over the end of the conductor. There we go. Wrap plenty round because it will just get snagged otherwise. Right, okay, just chop that off there now. And now we just have to navigate this through here. Just chop the end of that off to make it nice and neat. Open that up very slightly there. It's coming away for some reason, that doesn't want to know. Oh, it's got the tube in it still. There we go. What an idiot. Never mind. Bank holiday Monday. I'm putting it down to that. Right, here we go. Right, we're just going to push that straight away through there. See, it still gets snagged a bit. So you have to just gradually push it through like that. Get it up the end there. Right, just shoot that over the end a bit, and then we can cut it here because we want to, it's where our end is there. Right, there we go. We've got our one layer of silver plated braid. Now we're going to be doing 2 layers of this. We're going to put this one over the top as well. So we just want to open the end up of that in a minute, but this end again, now we're just going to wrap some more PTFE tape around that because we want that to navigate through the next braid. Right. Go, get that through there. Now this one's like a flat, so what I might do is just to push this through here first, just to open it up a bit. Get that nice and, let's just push that through first to open it up a bit. I get all these braids from different places, so a lot of these are just offcuts of other stuff that I've been using. Just push that through to a certain amount. Up there. Try that. Open that up a bit. There we go. some of these come in a flat braid, other ones come in with a pipe in there. Just depends on what I can get at the time. Right, that'll probably do it. I'll just pull that out now. And now we're going to navigate this through here. Over the top there. There we go. So now we've got 2 of our braids on there. And so what we need to do is just to remove all of this PTFE tape from here now. That one and the one underneath it as well. Pull that back slightly from there. There we go. So the top braid is going to be connected to the ground on both ends. Okay, the middle braid is only going to be connected at one end. Okay, so what we want to do now is just bring this back a little bit, push it up a little bit that way again, take it down to about there. We want to open the braid up. This top one there. Oh, that looks like, is that both of them there? That's just one, that one's the top one. Right, so what I tend to do is just to use a small screwdriver here just to tease open the ends here. There we go. And we just tie one off here. Now this side here, we'll just chop that off there with the scissors. Okay, bearing in mind, you see, you've got to make sure none of this braid is touching there, you see. Keep it shy of there. Okay, what we'll just do is we'll just wrap a piece of PTFE tape around that now. There we go. We'll just do that for the minute. So we've got none of any braid touching the centre conductor. That's all been nicely taped up there at that end. Now we need to turn our attention to this end. Pull that down nice and neat, so it's okay. So we're going to be using both of these braids at this end. Need to open it up again. So we're just doing the second braid now. We've got the first one all pull that off like that. Right, so we need just to try that one off there for the minute, like that. And then this one needs to come back a bit. And they both need to be tied off together there like that. Okay, and again, what we're going to do now is we're going to put some PTFE tape around that now as well. So here we go with the PTFE tape. Right, so what we need to do once we've done this now is then just to cover the whole thing in PTFE tape. 2 layers. Right, so you want to wrap that around there, push it down. You don't want this PTFE tape touching the centre conductor. So there we go. At the end there, it's just the cotton touching the centre conductor, nothing else. And make sure there's no rogue strands of this braid anywhere, because that will just ruin the it will just arc out at one end. It won't work at all. It will just right, so now all I'm going to do now is just to wrap the whole of this cable in PTFE tape now. Get rid of any old rubbish you've got on the bench there, because you don't want nothing interfering. What I'll do is I'll show you this first, and then I'll crack on, and I'll be back once I've done it, because otherwise the video will go very long. They're already long enough, these videos anyway. And we don't really want them going too long. People get bored and switch off. So there we go. We'll just wrap our PTFE tape around, and then I'll be back once I've done 2 layers of that. So here we have the cable all made. All it needs now is the braid around it and a bit of heat shrink. So we'll crack on and do that now. So what I'm going to do before we put any braid or anything on it, I'm just going to solder up the ends of this silver plated braid, just because it aids the process when we're soldering it to the plugs. Right, okay, so we're going to do these bits first here. Right, that one's done. Just turn this over. side out. This braid's quite thick. Takes a bit of solder on there. There we go. That's nice and neat. I'll just do a little bit more on that one there. We're going to have to cut this back slightly anyway after. That's it. So here we go. We've soldered our braid up now, so that will just go up like that, and then that will just solder to the ground of the RCA plug. So we'll get on now and put the braid on. So now we just need to navigate our cable through the braid again, and we've got to do the same thing as we usually do, and just put a piece of PTFE tape over the conductors there. Okay, otherwise what will happen is it will get snagged up, as I keep saying. Just cut that off of that, like that. Right, so now we're going to thread all this through here. Now this is a bit of braid that I salvaged from another cable that never worked out, because I make shed loads of cables all the time, and some don't come to fruition. They sound either rubbish or I've not made them up properly. Very easy to do that. So this is just off of another meter piece that I made, which I had great expectations for, but it never come to fruition. So so that was it really. So what I do is I tend to take the braid off. Once I've made the cable up, the actual conductor is no good. It's just not very good. So I don't bother reusing it. So I go through loads of wire, if you can imagine. Right, so we've got it up to about there. And what we need to do now is we need to set our heat gun up, which I've got here, because we want to do our heat shrink. Okay, we'll plug that into here. There we go, and then we'll be able to do the heat shrink. So we're just going to slip our heat shrink. We've got 2 bits of black heat shrink here. Okay, which we're going to just pop over the end there. So then we're going to set our heat gun on. So that's one on there. Now we just want to come down this end and do the same. We'll just slide that over the end. Push that up like that to make sure that there's some room there still. Right, so there's our cable now made up. Okay, so now all we've got to do now is fit our plugs on. So we're going to get our back housing here, slide it onto there. This is just about the right size there in the back there. Okay, so that's on that end. We're going to do the same with this end. Just need to release the little screw that's on the end there, and we'll slot that over the end of this end. Right, now we've just got to get our soldering iron heated up. Well, we'll do that now. So we've now put our RCA plugs on there, and what we want to do is just to trim these back a bit. I'll take a little bit off of that one and a bit off of that one because we want to be able to solder this in here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a bit of flux onto the plug there, a bit of flux onto here, okay, and a bit of flux onto the braid there. And then we're going to just bring our soldering iron round. I'm going to just put a bit of solder on the end of the tip first, because it's a bit difficult to hold it in place otherwise. There we go. So this is silver solder. Turn the plug around to there. Okay, so we want to pull this round. I want to pull this piece there, because I've used these before, you see. So okay, so get that down to about there. That's perfect. Look at that. Put a bit more. Put a bit more flux on there. And now we'll just solder that up there. Perfect. So that's that one now. And all I'm going to do is just to wrap a little bit of PTFE tape around this ground here. Very small amount. I'll just double over the PTFE tape if I can, like so. And I just want to push it through there. And get it through. That's it. Then go around the other side here and thread it back through. That's it. Use the solder just to push that through there. Oh, it's not going through. Put it over like that. That's better. There we go. Pull that over. Go in and out a couple of times with it. They're quite fiddly, these jobs, but well worth doing. Nothing better than building your own stuff. Right, just cut that off there. You know, when I do these off of camera, when I'm building different cables, so easy to do. As soon as you're on camera, it just becomes so much more difficult, because you're trying to make it look professional as well at the same time. Right, so now that needs to be pushed back into place, and we need to get this end on here. Right, so we've got that in place now. So all we need to do is to get our little Allen key, wherever that's gone. The problem when you're doing stuff on a bench, things go missing. There it is. And we just want to tighten this up now onto there. Make sure the braid's up, just to hold the plug housing in place. There we go. And now we need to do exactly the same thing to the other end now. Solder this on. So what I'll do is I'll crack on and solder this on, and I'll be back in a minute. So here we have the cable finished. So you should definitely try to make one of these if you can. This is unbelievably good. And you would have to spend quite a lot of money. I'm talking in your thousands to better this as a digital interconnect. This is just wonderful. So I hope you like the video. Never easy filming these videos. I do a lot of coughing in these videos for some reason. It's very odd. My throat dries out, and my son says, "You should edit all that out. It's not very professional." But for me, I don't care about that. All I care is that you get to learn how to build these cables, and that's it really. So all I've got to say is thanks for watching another Tweaker Man video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a like. Don't forget to press that notification bell so you're notified each time I upload a new video. And thank you for watching, guys.